Manchester United take on Manchester City, live and exclusive on talkSPORT, 12:30 tomorrow. Stuart Pearce is alongside Simon and myself this morning here in studio in the news building at London Bridge. Stuart, I mean, Pep said it there. United are coming back. You bet they're coming back, Pep. Stuart, since City thrashed United 6-3 4 months ago, Ten Hag's team have won 15 matches, drawn twice, lost once. United could take City this weekend, couldn't they? Quite conceivably.
I like to look at the full picture. Okay, the full picture is this. Since we've come back from the World Cup, they've played Charlton, Everton, Burnley, Forest, Wolves and Bournemouth. Now, I'm not being disrespectful to any of those teams. If you could pick a fixture list to give you a block of results that's going to turn people's heads slightly to get confidence within the group.
But they can only beat what's in front of them.
I'm not saying they can't, but we're going to find out a little bit more in the next couple of games. Man City and Arsenal in the next 3 games. Yeah. That is when you quantify, is it a resurgence Manchester United, or have they knocked over the teams? If they had lost to any of them, we'd have been, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know at this moment in time. They're better, certainly, than they were earlier in the season. Rashford's come up for air again, and all of a sudden he's a threat to them and 1 or 2 other players, and they've got options. They're growing the confidence within the group. He's done nothing wrong at this moment in time since the World Cup. But the next 2 of the 3 games that they've got coming up will be the acid test to them. If they win both of them, all of a sudden I'll sit here you call me back into the show to upset your mate over there. I will sit here and turn around and say they're back. Yeah,
I mean, 4 points between them, Simon. Is the gap between the 2 of them closing as much as the league table suggests?
No, not really. Man City are a far better side than Man United, at this moment in time. But Manchester United, the language coming out of Ten Hag is more commensurate with a Manchester United manager. And I know that people think I had this agenda against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I just don't like rewarding mediocrity. And too often in sport that happens. And he was mediocre, and he got a job that took Manchester United backwards for 3 years. The culture of the football club turned into a Butlins holiday camp, and too many people got away far too much. This guy, whether
they finished second.
I don't care. Second is back end of nowhere.
That's no Butlins holiday camp.
I think it is. I think that Man United are built upon different things, but I'll take your point that second looks like a far more commendable outcome than actually really was there, because Manchester United have not been at the races really since Mourinho that took them to a place. And everyone goes, Mourinho this, Mourinho that, but he won in the UEFA Cup, he won in the League Cup, he put them at a point where they were ascending in the league again, and he didn't get the support that he wanted. Now, going to Ten Hag, I talked to him about at the beginning of the season. He gets trotted out. You take great delight in bringing it up every time you possibly can about his suit and the fitting of his suit. I said that in the context of this fella doesn't look like somebody that exudes and puts out great authority.
That was another foot and mouth moment for you.
It may be, you can think that, but my point is that I want people on the front foot. I want somebody that leads Manchester United to not be apologetic, not someone that shrinks inside their own suits, someone that stands and goes, here it comes, it's on top now. And what you're hearing now from Ten Hag is a different dynamic, the culture of this football club, the expectation he has of the players. You turn up late for a football game, you get dropped. Right? That's what happens to you. You don't get to go on holiday for 2 weeks after European Championships before you have surgery to play for arguably the biggest club in the world. You get to fall in line with the expectations of this football club. Now, as a football team, they're a work in progress. And it's nice to see them back in ascendancy, because the league needs an ascendant Man United. It needs those pillars of the Premier League to keep the interest around the world. But they are not as good as a well-oiled, well-functioning Man City. You put Man City out at their best against Man United at their best, and you'll get 6-3 again.
Yeah, but even Ilkay Gundogan is saying we, City, are not as good and well-oiled as we were. This is what he says, Stuart, off the back of losing to Southampton, albeit in the Carabao Cup. The performances, the desire, the hunger is maybe not as it was in recent years. We know we have to do better. We need to start working hard again. We need to be humble, because things will not come to us automatically.
They're unusual words, I think, coming out of a player from a side that are used to winning and winning the league and playing a brand of football that's magnificent. I was at the game. We covered the game at Southampton. And I don't know whether the mentality of the Manchester United mentality's got a bit excited now because they've seen Manchester City get dipped at Southampton. I don't know that over the last day or so. But what you're going to turn around and say, really, they're an outstanding side, but I think at this moment in time, with all the riches they got in, even when they make changes, I think it hurts them a little bit. It did the other night. And in the second half of the game, when they were chasing Southampton were very, very comfortable within the game. And City looked as though they didn't have the oomph to go and chase the game and turn it round. It was as though they'd accepted a defeat, which is very, very... I've never seen that in this recent era of Pep.
So for the first time in a long time, are City there for the taking in terms of United going for the throat?
I wouldn't say that because, De Bruyne is playing, Haaland, Rodrigo, Rodri, sorry. They're all going to be back in the team. They're going to be a stronger team. There's no doubt. But you would say it's a closer on the betting front between these two sides.
I think it makes it worse for Manchester United, that result against Southampton. I think ultimately, if Man City put in two performances that are lacklustre, then you can start to talk about where Man City are at this moment in time. I do think there's strange comments from Gundogan. I don't think they're particularly necessary. I'm not entirely sure his manager would be overly appreciative of it. But notwithstanding it, he said it. He's a senior pro.
I think Pep will like it. Need to be more humble. That's right up his street.
Well, sure, okay. What was the suggestion there? He's basically suggesting that the dressing room was arrogant and took Southampton lightly, and they needed to be a little bit more grounded. Fine, okay. Do they make the same mistake twice? A week before that, they spanked Chelsea 4-0. Okay, we can say Chelsea are not in great nick, but they still beat Chelsea 4-0. So one result in a cup that they own, and it's a cup that they've owned previously up until losing it last year. Previously, before that, they'd won it every single year, hadn't they? I think it bodes badly for people. I think it bodes badly for those in the Champions League. I think it bodes badly for those in the Premier League, because Pep Guardiola isn't at the top of the tree for no reason. He has the best players around him. He has a centre-forward that will score goals for fun. And there's this debate going on, isn't it, about whether Man City are better without Erling Haaland than with him. And apparently I saw some poll being put up by Shaban talking about Shabana Hearn, that 50% of Man City fans are saying that actually they're not sure whether they prefer Man City without Haaland, i.e. playing with that centre forward, than they do with him. I find that a bit perplexing.
You think they were City fans?
Or who knows? I think Manchester City are still as compelling a proposition as they've always been. I think that's one result that will answer questions about certain players. Certain players are clamouring at his door to play, and they were given a shot, and they went up to it against Southampton. Mentally went up to it. Obviously, technically they're up to it, but mentally they weren't.
Yeah.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.